focus on the future. Sustainability for the next generation. But to truly appreciate where we're headed, you have to go back to how it all began.
Westervelt Ecological Services, or WES as we like to call it, was founded in 2006 by a group of, I'd call them renegade environmental planners. And what we do is we find the highest and best use for land suitable for mitigation and conservation.
I knew how important it was to think long-term and to think about the future. There was a way to implement good conservation, good biology, and good business, and we did it as an entrepreneurial approach.
The Westervelt company was looking to invest in a new model of land stewardship, and mitigation banking definitely fit into that portfolio.
It's a legacy for the company, but it's also we're leaving a natural legacy on the land. It's setting aside valuable places like this for perpetuity.
Mitigation back in the 80s and 90s was really driven by a desire for having on-site compensation. That doesn't really benefit the watershed.
We take a different view of conservation here at Westervelt.
When we undertake mitigation and conservation banking, what we're looking at is how can we make a regional difference?
Driven by federal regulations requiring offsets to the environmental impacts of development, WES pioneered a new approach to accelerate and implement large-scale conservation, mitigation banking.
It really started at a time when the mitigation industry itself was taking off.
At the core of what we do is we're restoring habitat on a large landscape scale, but the complexity is we're providing offsets for development. So I often use the example of carbon credits, which people are very familiar with. We're just creating habitat credits for either wetlands or endangered species, and we're doing it at a really large landscape scale.
Through this program, we've incentivized conservation on private land. It provides a mechanism to realize the true value of conservation work.
In working in combination with state and public agencies and other private landowners who are interested in doing conservation work, we can have a larger impact.
I mean, the work absolutely means a lot to me personally. We actively take on the pressure of managing these properties and make sure that it's done correctly. It's an extraordinary place to work.
The world around us is evolving faster than ever.
Not only with climate change, but also land development. Our habitats are shrinking at enormous rates, so it's very important to provide habitat that species can go back to and live off of and thrive and survive.
Restoring habitat helps strike a very necessary balance between the needs of people and nature, protecting and preserving dwindling land resources, while facilitating smart economic growth, progress powered by the private sector.
The private sector brings capital, brings energy, brings the ability to get things done. And we need that energy from the private sector, as well as the collaboration with government and nonprofits. That's how we'll get more done. There's just so much to do.
And so we have the ability to go out, target the right landscapes, and be assured we're going to be able to bring it through that complicated restoration effort to where it's going to generate all of those environmental values. And that's pretty unique.
We're ready to take what we've learned, take all these processes. We understand how to run our business efficiently, and we're ready to take that next step.
In the years to come, we're challenging ourselves to adapt, to do more, to increase not only the size and scale of our projects, but to provide ecological benefits beyond habitat restoration, like flood management and water quality.
Land is a scarcity. We aren't generating any more of it, and as our population continues to grow, as cities expand, the amount of available landscape to do things that have a connection for either habitat, flood, recreation, agriculture diminish. And so we've got to look at how can we maximize multiple benefits, not just single benefits.
Mitigation banking, I think, is very critical to the future of habitat restoration. The thing about mitigation banking is it's a method where private landowners are incentivized to do restoration and conserve properties in perpetuity to help the overall conservation community meet conservation and restoration goals.
We're not using taxpayer dollars, we're using private funds for long-term conservation, and we're doing that at the same time that we're offsetting impacts for good economic development projects.
From stream restoration in the heart of Alabama to protecting endangered frogs in Northern California, our projects across the country and their benefits will last far beyond the next 15 years.
I think there's a lot of inspiration and hope and comfort in knowing that while a lot of things change, maybe our projects won't.
My hope for these projects is that they're a standard for what mitigation projects can and should be moving forward.
Bigger projects, more complicated projects that are also more rewarding projects.
Coordinating with public agencies, coordinating with other industries.
We really have the ability to make a significant difference.
It's a joy and just a dream to be a part of this company, and I think the future is bright.
I'll be really proud one day when I can explain to my daughter now I'm getting emotional, what it is we do, you know?
I think delivering true conservation counts. No smoke and mirrors. Get it right. Quality counts.